Have you ever felt that deep ache in your heart? That persistent pain that comes from pouring your love into someone who simply cannot or will not love you back in the way you deserve? Tonight, we're going to have an honest conversation about one of the most challenging journeys we face as human beings, learning to stop loving the wrong person. You see, right now, somewhere in this world, someone is lying awake at night, staring at their phone, waiting for a message that won't come. Someone is making excuses for their partner's behavior, convincing themselves that love shouldn't be this hard, but maybe this time it will be different. Someone is settling for breadcrumbs when they deserve the whole feast of love. I know this pain intimately, not just as someone who stands before you, but as someone who's walked through the fire of loving the wrong person and emerged transformed. This isn't just another talk about relationships. This is about reclaiming your power, your dignity, and your right to be truly, deeply, and completely loved. The most profound truth I've learned is that loving the wrong person isn't just about them. It's about us. It's about the stories we tell ourselves, the patterns we've inherited, and the wounds we're trying to heal through someone else's love. We've all been there, haven't we? Holding on to someone who holds us with loose fingers, convincing ourselves that if we just love hard enough, wait long enough, or change ourselves enough, they'll finally see our worth. But here's what no one tells you about loving the wrong person. It's not just about heartbreak, it's about betraying yourself. Every time you silence your needs, every time you accept less than you deserve, every time you stay when your soul is screaming to leave, you're not just loving the wrong person, you're unlocking yourself from your own destiny. Think about it. How many dreams have you put on hold? How many parts of yourself have you dimmed? How many times have you made yourself smaller to fit into someone else's narrow vision of love? The cost of loving the wrong person isn't just measured in tears or sleepless nights. It's measured in the years we spend walking away from our own truth. But here's where everything changes. Today, we're going to unravel the complex web of why we stay when we know we should leave. We're going to shine a light on the patterns that keep us trapped in cycles of unfulfilling love. Most importantly, we're going to learn how to break free. Not just from the wrong person, but from the beliefs that made us choose them in the first place. You see, loving the wrong person is often a symptom of a deeper pattern. It's like having an old map that keeps leading us to the same destination, even though that destination no longer serves us. Maybe this map was given to us in childhood, where we learned that love means proving our worth. Perhaps we inherited it from watching our parents' relationship, where we learned that love means sacrifice, even at the cost of our own happiness. The truth is, many of us are operating from a flawed definition of love. We've confused love with need, attachment with connection, and comfort with compatibility. We've learned to normalize dysfunction and romanticize struggle. Love shouldn't be this hard, we whisper to ourselves. Yet we stay, hoping that our endurance will somehow transform into happiness. But what if I told you that the love you're fighting so hard to keep isn't actually love at all? What if it's just familiarity dressed up as fate? What if the very thing you're afraid to lose is actually the thing holding you back from the love you truly deserve? Real love, authentic, healthy, reciprocal love, doesn't require you to continuously prove your worth. It doesn't demand that you shrink yourself or silence your truth. Real love is expansive. It creates space for growth, honors boundaries, and celebrates your authenticity. Most importantly, real love reflects back to you your own magnificence, not your insecurities. The journey of stopping loving the wrong person begins with a simple but profound realization. And you are not meant to be someone's backup plan or someone's right person at the wrong time. You are meant to be someone's absolute. Yes, their priority, their gratitude for finding you. But before we can attract this kind of love, we must first understand why we've been settling for less. Think about your current relationship or your past patterns. Are you staying because of love or because of fear? Are you holding on because of potential or because letting go means facing yourself? These are uncomfortable questions, I know. But discomfort is often the price of growth. The path to loving yourself enough to stop loving the wrong person requires radical honesty. It demands that we look at our patterns without judgment, but with a fierce commitment to our own evolution. As we continue this journey together, I want you to remember something crucial. The decision to stop loving the wrong person isn't just about ending a relationship. It's about beginning a new relationship with yourself. It's about recognizing that the love you've been searching for outside yourself has always lived within you. The most powerful moment in this journey comes when you realize that loving the wrong person wasn't a mistake. It was a lesson. Every heartache, every disappointment, every moment of feeling not enough was actually preparing you for this moment of awakening. These experiences weren't punishments. They were invitations to love yourself more deeply, to set higher standards, and to finally recognize your own worth. Let's take a moment to truly feel this truth. You are not broken because someone couldn't love you properly. You are not less worthy because someone couldn't see your value. And you are certainly not destined to keep repeating this pattern. What keeps us bound to the wrong person isn't just love. It's the story we've created about what this love means. We've all done it. We've all written elaborate narratives about why this person is different, why this time it will work, why we just need to be more patient, more understanding, more accommodating. But these stories, these beautiful lies we tell ourselves, are actually prison walls keeping us from the love we deserve. The truth about loving the wrong person is that it often feels right for all the wrong reasons. It feels familiar because it fits our wounds. It feels comfortable because it matches our expectations of what love should feel like, even if those expectations were formed in the shadows of past hurts. Think about the relationships in your life right now. Do they lift you higher, or do they keep you tethered to old versions of yourself? Do they challenge you to grow, or do they comfort you in staying small? The answers to these questions aren't just about your relationships. They're about your relationship with yourself. You see, loving the wrong person is often a reflection of the parts of ourselves we haven't yet learned to love. We accept the love we think we deserve, but what if we've been thinking too small? What if we've been settling for echoes when we could have symphonies? Let me share something profound with you. The moment you truly begin to value yourself, the universe conspires to remove anyone who doesn't match that value. It's not magic. When you raise your standards, when you begin to honor your worth, you naturally begin to repel those who can't meet you at that level. But here's where many of us get stuck. We understand this intellectually, but our hearts still cling to the familiar pain of loving someone who can't or won't love us back. We become comfortable in our discomfort, experts in the art of making excuses for others while betraying ourselves. The hardest truth to accept is that sometimes the wrong person isn't obviously wrong. They might be good people who simply aren't good for us. They might love us the best way they know how, but their best might still not be what we need. This is where the real courage comes in. Not in demonizing them, but in loving ourselves enough to say, your best isn't enough for my happiness. Every moment you spend trying to make the wrong relationship work is a moment you're stealing from the right one, whether that's with yourself or with someone who's actually meant for you. Every time you compromise your essential needs, every time you silence your truth to keep the peace, you're not just losing yourself, you're losing time. But time isn't the only thing we lose when we love the wrong person. We lose our sense of possibility. We lose our connection to our own intuition. We lose the vibrant, authentic parts of ourselves that slowly go dim in the shadow of someone else's inability to truly see us, hear us, or value us. The process of stopping loving the wrong person isn't about becoming cold or building walls. It's about building bridges. Bridges back to yourself. Bridges to your own wisdom, bridges to your own truth. It's about recognizing that the love you're looking for isn't found in trying to change someone else. It's found in finally, fully accepting yourself. This journey requires us to face some uncomfortable truths. We must acknowledge that maybe we chose this person not despite their inability to fully love us, but because of it. Perhaps their emotional unavailability felt safe, because it matched our own fears of true intimacy. Maybe their inconsistency felt familiar because it echoed patterns from our past. When we start to see these patterns, not as our destiny, but as our teacher, every relationship that didn't work out wasn't a failure. It was feedback. Every heartbreak wasn't a punishment. It was preparation. Every wrong person wasn't a mistake. They were a messenger showing us exactly what we don't want, what we won't accept, what we've outgrown. The key to stopping loving the wrong person lies in understanding that love isn't supposed to be a constant struggle. It's not supposed to leave you feeling empty, uncertain, or anxious. Real love adds to your life. It doesn't subtract from your real love, multiplies your joy. It doesn't divide your attention between who you are and who you think you need to be loved. This understanding doesn't come easily. It comes from standing in front of the mirror and having honest conversations with yourself. It comes from asking the hard questions. What am I afraid of? What am I avoiding by staying? What part of me believes this is all I deserve? The answers to these questions often reveal that our attachment to the wrong person is really an attachment to an old story about ourselves. A story that says we need to earn love. A story that says we're not enough on our own. A story that says this is as good as it gets. But today, right now, we're writing a new story. A story where we are the heroes of our own lives, not supporting characters in someone else's. A story where love isn't something we chase, but something we cultivate within ourselves first. A story where we don't just survive love, we thrive in it. This new story begins with a simple but powerful decision to stop making excuses for the people who don't make an effort to keep us, to stop explaining away the behavior that hurts us, to stop believing that half love is better than no love. The truth is, half love is actually more damaging than no love because it keeps us hoping. It keeps us stuck in the purgatory between what we have and what we want. It keeps us believing that if we just try harder, wait longer, love deeper, maybe things will change. But change doesn't come from loving the wrong person more. It comes from loving ourselves enough to walk. The moment you decide to stop loving the wrong person is the moment you begin to hear your own heart again. It's like turning down the volume on all the external noise. The WYTFs, the MABs, the IF onlys is A. And finally hearing the quiet wisdom that has been trying to guide you all along. This wisdom has always been there, whispering in the moments when you felt something was off. When you noticed the red flags but painted them pink with optimism. When you felt that subtle disconnect between what you were accepting and what you truly deserved. Your inner wisdom never abandoned you. You just stopped listening to it in favor of what you wanted to believe. But now, as we stand at this crossroads together, it's time to realign with that inner truth. The process of stopping loving the wrong person isn't just about them. It's about reclaiming your relationship with yourself. It's about learning to trust your instincts again, about honoring your boundaries, about remembering who you were before you started dimming your light to make someone else comfortable. Think about all the energy you've spent trying to figure out why they don't love you the way you need to be loved. Think about all the mental gymnastics you've performed trying to justify their behavior, trying to understand their perspective, trying to be more understanding, more patient, more of what they need. Now imagine channeling all that energy back into yourself. The truth is, loving the wrong person is like trying to grow flowers in toxic soil. No matter how much water you add, how much sunlight you provide, how tenderly you care for those flowers, they will never truly thrive because the very foundation is compromised. You can't create healthy love in unhealthy conditions. This is where many of us get caught in a cycle of hope and disappointment. We see potential in people, and potential is seductive. It whispers to us about what could be, about the person they might become, about the relationship that might develop if we just hold on long enough. But potential is not reality, and banking your happiness on someone's potential is like writing checks against an empty account. Eventually, reality will demand payment. The most liberating truth I can share with you is this: you don't have to wait for someone to become who you need them to be. You don't have to put your life on hold while someone else decides if they're ready to love you properly. You don't have to exhaust yourself trying to prove your worth to someone who isn't even questioning their own. The journey of stopping loving the wrong person requires us to face some uncomfortable truths about ourselves. Why do we keep choosing people who can't meet our emotional needs? Why do we stay in situations that clearly don't serve our highest good? Why do we accept less than what we know we deserve? These patterns often stem from our earliest experiences of love. Perhaps we learned that love means earning affection through performance. Maybe we internalized the belief that real love involves struggle and sacrifice. Or possibly we came to believe that our role in relationships is to fix, ail, or complete the other person. But here's the revolutionary truth. You are not responsible for completing anyone else's journey. You are not responsible for healing anyone else's wounds. You are not responsible for teaching anyone else how to love. Your only responsibility is to yourself, to honor your truth, to protect your peace, and to preserve your energy for relationships that reflect your worth. The process of stopping loving the wrong person isn't linear. It's not like flipping a switch where suddenly all feelings disappear. It's more like turning a ship. It takes time, patience, and consistent small adjustments in a new direction. Some days you'll feel strong and certain. Other days the old feelings will wash over you like waves. This is normal. This is human. This is part of the healing. But each time you choose yourself, each time you honor your boundaries, each time you say no to what no longer serves you, you're building new neural pathways. You're creating new patterns. You're literally rewiring your brain's understanding of what love should feel like. The key is to understand that letting go of the wrong person isn't just about ending something. It's about beginning something new. It's about creating space in your life for what truly aligns with your soul's highest good. Nature abhors a vacuum, and the universe cannot bring you what you truly deserve, while your hands are full of what you need to release. This is where courage comes in. Real courage isn't about not being afraid. It's about being afraid and moving forward anyway. It's about acknowledging that, yes, the unknown is scary, but staying stuck is scarier. It's about recognizing that the temporary pain of walking away is nothing compared to the permanent pain of staying somewhere you don't belong. As you begin this journey of releasing what no longer serves you, remember that every ending is also a beginning. Every time you say no to the wrong person, you're saying yes to yourself. Every time you choose your peace over someone else's comfort, you're voting for your own happiness. Every time you walk away from what hurts you, you're walking toward what will heal you. The process of stopping loving the wrong person also involves forgiving yourself. Forgiving yourself for staying too long, for giving too much, for ignoring the red flags, for believing the empty promises. This forgiveness isn't about condoning these choices. It's about understanding that you made the best decisions you could with the consciousness you had at the time. Now, with new awareness, you can make different choices. You can set different standards. You can create different boundaries. Most importantly, you can develop a different relationship with yourself, one based on trust, respect, and unwavering self-love. When you finally stop loving the wrong person, something magical happens. The world doesn't end, it begins. Colors become brighter, possibilities become clearer, and most importantly, your own voice becomes louder than the echoes of past pain. This is what freedom feels like. This is what it means to choose yourself. But let's talk about what happens in that space between letting go and moving forward. This space, this sacred pause, is where true transformation occurs. It's where we learn to distinguish between loneliness and solitude, between missing someone and needing them back, between loving them and loving the idea of what could have been. The hardest part about stopping loving the wrong person isn't the letting go. It's the staying gone. It's resisting the urge to check their social media, to respond to their messages, to believe that this time might be different. This is where your strength will be tested, not in grand gestures, but in small, daily choices to choose yourself over the familiar comfort of their presence. You see, when we've been loving the wrong person for so long, we develop what I call an emotional addiction. Like any addiction, it's not about the substance itself. It's about the relief it provides from our own uncomfortable feelings. We become addicted to the drama, the intensity, the highs and lows that masquerade as passion, but are really just chaos in disguise. Breaking this addiction requires us to sit with our uncomfortable feelings without reaching for the familiar remedy of their attention. It requires us to face our fears of being alone, our doubts about our worth, our anxiety about the future. But here's the true things won't kill you. They're just feelings. And like all feelings, they pass. The journey of stopping loving the wrong person is also about reclaiming your narrative. For too long, your story has been intertwined with theirs. Your dreams, your plans, your sense of self. All of it has been filtered through the lens of this relationship. Who am I? Be us yourself. When I'm not trying to be what someone else needs, what do I want when I'm not compromising for someone else's comfort? This is where the real work begins. This is where you start to rebuild your relationship with yourself, piece by piece, day by day. It's about rediscovering your interests, your passions, your non-negotiables. It's about learning to trust your intuition again, to honor your boundaries, to speak your truth without the person who is right for you won't require you to compromise your values, dim your light, or explain your worth. They won't leave you questioning where you stand or whether you're enough. The right person will make you feel secure, not because they promise to never leave, but because they consistently show up in ways that make you feel valued, respected, and understood. The process of healing from loving the wrong person isn't just about getting over them. It's about getting back. It's about recognizing that perhaps they weren't the wrong person at all. They were the right person to teach you what you don't want, what you won't accept, and what you truly deserve. This journey will require you to develop new skills. You'll need to learn how to set boundaries not just with others, but with yourself. You'll need to learn how to distinguish between real connection and familiar dysfunction. Most importantly, you'll need to learn how to stay committed to your own growth, even when it feels uncomfortable or uncertain. The truth is, stopping loving the wrong person creates space for the right love to enter your life. But before that can happen, you need to become the right person for yourself. This means developing a relationship with yourself that is based on trust, respect, and unwavering commitment to your own well-being. Think about it this way. Act as that you want someone you love to accept the treatments you've been accepting. Would you advise your best friend to stay in a situation that leaves them feeling constantly uncertain, anxious, or not good enough? Then why do you accept it for yourself? This is where self-love becomes not just a concept, but a practice. It's in the small decisions you make every day. It's in choosing to speak kindly to yourself when you make mistakes. It's in honoring your boundaries even when it means disappointing others. It's in treating yourself with the same compassion and understanding that you so freely give to others. The journey of stopping loving the wrong person also involves learning to trust again, not just others, but yourself. You'll need to trust that you can recognize red flags when you see them. Trust that you can walk away from situations that don't serve you. Trust that you can survive the temporary discomfort of being alone rather than the permanent pain of being with someone who doesn't value you. As you move forward on this path, remember that every time you choose yourself, you're setting a new standard for how others will treat you. Every time you honor your boundaries, you're teaching others how to respect them. Every time you walk away from what doesn't serve you, you're walking toward what will fulfill you. This journey isn't about becoming perfect or never making mistakes. It's about becoming more authentic, more aligned with your truth, more committed to your own well-being. It's about recognizing that you don't need to earn love. You are already worthy of it. You don't need to prove your value. You are already invaluable. You don't need to wait for someone else to choose you. You can choose yourself every single day. As we come to the close of our time together, I want you to understand something profound. The journey of stopping loving the wrong person is actually the beginning of the greatest love story of your life, the one between you and yourself. This is the love story that will define all others, the one that will set the standard for every relationship that follows. Everything we discussed today, the patterns, the pain, the persistence of hope in the face of disappointment, all of it has been leading you to this moment of truth. The truth that you're not meant to be maybe someone's backup plan or someone's last resort. You are meant to be someone's absolute yes. Their daily choice, their grateful discovery. Think about how much energy you've spent trying to make the wrong relationship work. Think about all the mental and emotional resources you've invested in understanding why they couldn't love you the way you deserved. Now imagine channeling all that energy into building the life you want, into becoming the person you were always meant to be. The process of stopping loving the wrong person is really about starting to love yourself right. It's about recognizing that the love you've been searching for, the validation you've been seeking, the acceptance you've been craving, all of it begins within you. External love can enhance your life, but it should never be the source of your worth. When you truly understand this, everything changes. You stop accepting crumbs because you know you deserve the whole feast. You stop making excuses for people's behavior because you know what real love looks like. You stop compromising your essential needs because you finally understand that your happiness is not negotiable. This is where true freedom begins. Freedom from the need to please others at the expense of yourself. Freedom from the compulsion to fix everyone else while neglecting your own growth. Freedom from the belief that love must be earned through perpetual sacrifice and endless compromise. The truth is, stopping loving the wrong person isn't just about them. It's about breaking free from all the limiting beliefs that made you choose them in the first place. It's about healing the parts of you that believed that love had to hurt to be real. It's about releasing the idea that your worth is somehow tied to someone else's ability to see it. As you move forward from this moment, remember that every time you've loved the wrong person, you weren't failing, you were learning. Learning what you don't want, learning what you won't accept, learning what love isn't so that you can recognize what love is when it finally arrives. Real love doesn't leave you questioning your worth. It doesn't keep you awake at night wondering where you stand. It doesn't require you to shrink yourself to fit into someone else's narrow vision of who you should be. Real love expands your world. It doesn't contract it. Real love brings peace. It doesn't disturb it. Real love adds to your life. It doesn't subtract from it. Your journey forward from this moment isn't about becoming worthy of love. You already are. It's about becoming aware of your worth. It's about raising your standards to match your value. It's about creating a life so full of purpose and meaning that anyone who enters it must add to its richness, not diminish it. The path ahead will have its challenges. There will be moments when the old patterns call to you, when the familiar pain feels more comfortable than the uncertain path of growth. In these moments, remember this: you are not alone. Every step you take toward your own truth, every boundary you set it, every time you choose yourself, you are joined by countless others who are also learning to stop loving the wrong person and start loving themselves. This journey isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming whole. It's about gathering all the pieces of yourself that you've given away and bringing them back home. It's about learning to be complete within yourself so that any love that enters your life is an addition, not a completion. As you leave here today, I want you to make a promise to yourself. Promise that you will no longer settle for less than what your heart truly desires. Promise that you will no longer silence your intuition when it whispers that something isn't right. Promise that you will no longer compromise your essential needs for someone else's comfort. Remember, the greatest act of self-love is sometimes saying goodbye to someone you thought you couldn't live without. It's recognizing that their inability to love you properly is not a reflection of your lovability. It's a reflection of their limitations. Your worth is not diminished by someone's inability to see it. The journey of stopping loving the wrong person ends where it began, with you. With your choice to value yourself more than any temporary comfort. With your decision to trust yourself more than any empty promises. With your commitment to love yourself more than any potential that never materializes. Your heart is not a waiting room for someone to make up their mind. Your love is not a gift to be earned through trials and tests. Your worth is not a question to be answered by someone else's validation. You are already enough, already worthy, already complete. As you step forward into this new chapter of your life, carry this truth with you. The right person won't just love you. They will choose you consistently, intentionally, without hesitation or doubt. They will add to your peace, not disturb it. They will match your effort, not drain your energy. They will see your worth without needing you to constantly prove it. But until that person arrives, be that person for yourself. Love yourself with the consistency you seek from others. Choose yourself with the certainty you desire in a partner. Add to your own peace. Match your own efforts. See your own worth. Because when you truly love yourself, you'll never again settle for someone who doesn't. This is your moment. This is your turning point. This is where you decide that from this day forward, you will no longer love the wrong person because you finally learned to love yourself right. The greatest love story of your life is waiting to begin. And it starts right here, right now with you, choosing you,